I'm Daily Journal crime reporter Danza Johnson, and I'm here with Lee County Sheriff Jim Johnson to talk about internet safety. Sheriff Johnson, we want to talk about chat rooms.
Okay.
I understand the chat rooms are a big way, probably the biggest way that these sex predators and meet with these underage kids and all that sort of things. What are the dangers of chat rooms?
Well, it's just an easy and quick way to generate a conversation. It's very accessible. It's very user friendly. You don't have to be real intelligent in order to get on the computer and use it. And it's very fast. It's much like talking on the phone or face to face. You're not having to wait for it to go through a long drawn out process before you get it like an email. But I guess the biggest problem is the accessibility of it. And we were able in our undercover operation to net, I think it was 16 arrests. And we all netted these through instant messaging. So it is definitely a place that these individuals prey on.
How, as a 28-year-old male, how do I get in a chat room that's just designated for teenagers?
Well, you have different sites. You have MySpace, you have Facebook. We use Yahoo Messenger. There's Zanga. There's a lot of them that gear more toward. Facebook is probably one of the biggest teenage sites that there is. It's a good site. It's very protected. I think Facebook has done all that they can, but there's always a way to manipulate the system, and that's found out. You have, if you get on these sites, it's more for dating. That's more of a 28, 40-year-old type site. But I would say Facebook and Yahoo Messenger is probably one of the top sites that are geared more toward kids and teenagers. And the reality of it is you can be on more than one instant messenger site. So as a parent, if you've got your child and you know that they're on Yahoo Messenger talking and you're trying to monitor it, it's a very common thing for them to be on 3 or 4 different ones, meeting all different types of people. So it's a lot to keep up with.
What about profiles? I know to get on these sites you have to create profiles.
Mm-hmm.
How does the creating of profiles kind of make some of these kids targets? I mean, should they watch information that they put on their profiles?
Most definitely. That is one of the dangers. Is now the profiles will allow you to put photographs. They will allow you to put pertinent information. You can put or not put as much information on there as you want. If you filled out every question on these instant messenger sites for these profiles, you'd have an absolute diary of your entire life, because it's got your hobbies, it's got your favorite interests, and that's what these individuals that are targeting these kids, that's really how they get a lot of information, is off the profile, by not directly asking the question. And what's an interesting thing is once they get this information off the profile, they begin a generalized conversation with this child, and it's almost like they know this child, because they know a lot of the pertinent information, such as their favorite food, their favorite place to go, their church affiliation, their friends, their sports, their hobbies, and it really becomes personal. And that's what a predator will do, is build up confidence, and that can all be done through a profile that's on these chat rooms.
So a lot of things you put on your profiles are actually used against you as weapons for these sex predators and these people that don't mean you any good on the internet.
And that's exactly where they're getting information from.
Okay, so what would be your advice for building a profile?
There's the first thing to do is limit it to your first and last name, or just your first name. There's no reason to even put your last name on there. I wouldn't put any type of physical address other than maybe the county or the city that you live. But a physical address is definitely a no-no. I wouldn't put any telephone numbers. Your photographs, as far as that's concerned, there's not anything wrong with it, as long as there's not anything that would send the wrong message. What I would just very much limit it to the basic information as far as getting on the website or getting in the chat room. Once someone starts talking to you, then you can begin to find out how much you know about that person. Would you give this information to a complete stranger if you met them face to face? And really, that's what the internet is a best way to look at it, is treat this individual as though we're sitting here, as me and Danza sitting here talking, and how much information would we share with each other. When we met, I didn't just hand you a book with everything there is to know about me, and neither did you. And that's no different than a profile. So limit it to the least amount of information you can, and then meet each person on there on an individual basis and give them information that you think is important.
How can parents monitor these chat rooms? I mean, I know if you can be in 3 or 4 different chat rooms on 3 or 4 different systems at one time, it's got to be kind of hard for parents to be able to monitor their children in these chat rooms.
You know, the best thing to do is, if you're not real computer literate as far as knowing about the computers and all, my advice on any of this, and we can say this each time to remind the viewers, you know, to get some type of education on the internet and how it works. You know, you can either get online, or different junior colleges does teach basic computer ideas. But, you know, to be involved and know how to do it, because anything that's put in these chat rooms can be pulled up and looked at. You know, you can look at the history of who they're talking to, and that's very important for parents. So, you know, become very familiar with your child, be very familiar with the internet. If not, I would encourage you to get some online courses.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us, and thank you, Sheriff Johnson, for your time. Join us next week on djournal.com on Tuesday to view more internet safety.